Hello, everyone. Jab here from SVG Superstar and Cotton Make Crafts. I am the founder of the SVG Superstar coaching program where I teach you how to design and sell SVG cut files. So today is the second day of our series, Six-Figure SVG Business. And yesterday I talked about what SVGs are, what's the difference between SVG image files and all the other image files, and what does SVG stand for, why is it so easy to work with SVGs. And I also showed you guys how to differentiate between an SVG and a PNG on your computer, and also on Design Space. So if you haven't watched my live from yesterday, you can catch it on Instagram as well as on Facebook and go through the concepts, because if you don't understand the concept of the SVG, how it works and what it stands for, then it won't be possible for you to design it properly and work with it properly. So it's very important before you start using your Cricut or before you start working with SVGs, it's extremely important that you take some time out and really clarify the concept of SVGs before you move on to any other step. All right, so that's what we covered in yesterday's live session. Today, we're going to look at why selling SVGs is the wisest option right now. So for those of you who are new here, I am Jab. I help creatives with a full-time job make extra cash on the side by selling SVG cut files. So if you have a busy job, if you're having a busy full-time job, whether you're a nurse or a speech therapist or anything, and you are looking to start a business that's easy to work on, that you can work on your own schedule, then SVG business is the right thing for you. And stay tuned to find out everything you need to know about designing and selling SVGs. So today we're going to talk about why selling SVGs is a good decision right now. So before you start any business, it's one of the basic fundamental rules of starting a business is to first find out whether there's a demand for the product in the market. Because if you fail at this step and you create something which is not even in demand, then it's 100% recipe for a failure. So before you go and start selling SVGs, you need to make sure that there's a demand for the SVGs, because you're going to be in this for the long run. For the next 10 years, you're going to be working on SVGs. So you need to make sure that your business is going to be profitable. So a way to do that is to look at the trends in the industry and what is going on. What are the predictions in the market, and what are people looking? Are people actually looking for SVGs or not? These are the different ways of predicting whether your SVG business is going to be successful or not. So we're going to look at 3 different ways. And I'm also going to share why, besides having a good demand, SVGs are a wonderful option. All right. So first of all, let's answer the question. Is an SVG business going to be profitable or not? Is there a demand for SVGs or not? So one of this news article, let me share my screen with you guys. Excuse me. Oh, I think there's one more. Okay, I'm good. All right, so I'm just gonna turn my camera so you guys can see my screen. And I have this little graph up here, which shows us the prediction for the cutting machine market. The global laser cutting machine market current value is $4.9 billion. And by 2026, it's going to increase further, as you can see in this graph. So this is the prediction that there's going to be a growth rate of 9.5%. And this data was supplied by Data and Intelligent Analysis. And according to them, the global laser cutting machine market is set to grow at a rate of 9.5% by 2028. This means the demand for cut files is also going to rise, because what do you use to cut? You need designs for the cutting machines, right? Because since the more people are going to be buying all these machines, they're obviously also going to need all those designs. So when the number of the usage of the machine increases, there's a huge demand for designers as well. So when the demand for machine increases, the demand for designers will also increase. So this tells us there is a good future for the SVG designers up ahead. And we also know that SVG designers are making good money right now, because I am working with a ton of new clients and they are getting multiple sales on their brand new SVGs. Their shops are completely new, and one of my clients made more than $2,000 in the last 4 months. She just started 4 months ago, and she has already made more than $2,000 from her shop. So this is a proof that even if you start now, you can still be successful, because there's so much demand for SVGs. So this is just one of the sources. Let me share with you other sources. So I was just looking at the prediction for t-shirt businesses. So custom t-shirt businesses, where people may write some custom quote on the t-shirt and sell those t-shirts. So the demand for those kind of t-shirts will also be increasing. And there are multiple articles over here that highlight this fact, that the t-shirt business will have a compound growth rate of 9.7% from 2021 to 2028. Market size increasing. You can find all these data on Google. Like, I don't want you to make decisions which are based off of emotions. Then you won't know whether your business is going to be successful or not. You need to look at the data before you start something. So this is the data which shows us that there is going to be a huge demand for SVGs for t-shirts in the future, with a growth rate of 9.7% by 2028. You can see there's this huge graph, and it's in millions. So all kind of t-shirt printing businesses are gonna grow exponentially in just 10 years, in the next 10 years. You can see that. So what do you need for t-shirts? You need designs for t-shirts. You need SVGs for t-shirts. So there's a huge demand for t-shirt SVGs coming up. So this is another proof that there is a demand for SVG designers in the industry right now. And I didn't write all these articles. You can find all these articles on Google. Here's another one which says by 2025, custom t-shirt printing will become a $10 billion industry. So all these articles are just pointing to one thing, one fact, that there is going to be a huge demand for SVGs and SVG designers in the upcoming years. So this is the best time to get into this business. Now let's back this with another data, which I love to get it from Google Trends. So Google Trends will tell you what people are actually looking for. So let's go to Google Trends and do a little search for SVGs. Let's look at past 5 years all over the world. And you can see that how much the search for SVGs has increased over the past 5 years. Can you guys see the graph? So although there were some highs and lows, but the main point over here is what that we can see is from here to here. If you connect the dot, you can see there's a straight line going up. Start off with around 25 searches per week to 90 searches per week. And that's just the term SVGs. So you can see there is with time, the demand for SVGs is just increasing. So this is another proof that SVGs are high in demand right now, and this is the business to get into. And if you can start creating professional, profitable SVGs, and you put in the effort, it's a guarantee that you are going to be successful as an SVG designer. So, and now what else? So this proves our point that there is a demand for SVGs, all right? So why else should you sell SVGs besides the fact that there's a demand for SVGs, right? So I love selling any kind of digital products. I started off by selling sewing patterns. So back then I started off selling with sewing patterns, and back then I was studying full-time for my bachelor's in biotechnology, and whenever I used to get the free time, I used to design sewing patterns and sell them. So that's how I got into selling digital items, and I absolutely love the idea because, first of all, I only had time to work on my business when I was on a break, and I couldn't commit to creating and selling handmade products because then I won't be able to work on my schedule. So by selling digital stuff, by selling SVGs, I get to work on my own schedule. Whenever I'm free, I design something and I upload it, and the sales just keep coming in on autopilot. I don't have to do anything after that, other than the promotion part. So that's one awesome thing about SVGs, that it's just set and forget. And secondly, you can make them on your own schedule whenever you are free. So you don't have to worry about going back home and completing all those customers' orders, because if you don't feel like working that day, you don't have to work. That's the choice, that's the freedom you get when you choose to sell SVGs. Thirdly, you don't have to deal with all the different layers of commitment that comes with selling handmade items. For example, when you're selling something handmade, you have to put the design together, you have to put the t-shirt together, and then you have to package it, and then you have to go off to the post office to drop it off. So all these different layers of uh, all these different steps of creating and selling something is removed when you are selling SVGs. It's much more simpler. You just need to package, you just need to create your design, upload your design, and that's a two-step process to get sales as compared to selling handmade items. That is why I that is why I love creating and selling SVG cut files as opposed to selling handmade items. And that's why I highly, highly recommend this kind of business model for crafters who are working full time. For example, if you are an attorney or speech therapist or a nurse or a full-time teacher, and you barely have any extra time on your hands and you want to make extra cash, uh, to save up for holidays, to save up for your kids, but you're just not getting that time. So if you are stuck in that kind of place where you're running for time, you don't have enough time, but you still want to make some extra cash, then selling SVGs would be the best option for you, because you can design SVGs whenever you are free, sitting on your couch. You don't have to work on somebody else's schedule. For example, when you get an order, you have to work on it to send it, but that's not how SVGs work. You can work whenever you feel like working, whenever you have the free time, when your kids are away, when your kids are sleeping, at night, in the morning. And it doesn't even make a lot of sound, right? Like you're just designing on your iPad or your computer any time of the day, and you can just upload your design and forget about it, and you'll see the sales rolling in one at a time. And other thing about selling SVGs is that once your design is up there, it can bring money throughout the year. You don't even have to touch it for 2 to 3 years if unless you want to update it, and you'll still keep getting the sales. The sales will still keep coming in, and you can be doing your own thing. You can be sleeping literally, and you'll see the sales pouring into your shop. So that's another awesome thing about SVG. And an SVG business is something you can work on even with your full-time job until you start making full-time income from it, and then you can easily quit your job, cut down your hours, or quit your job easily. So that's the freedom that comes from selling SVG files. So if you are interested in learning to design SVG cut files, I have a masterclass coming up on Saturday at 4 p.m. Saturday, where I'll be working with you on Zoom, and I'll be showing you how to design SVG cut files for t-shirts, so you can start getting into this industry, and you can slowly build your shop up, and before the hype gets crazy, you are there to supply people with SVGs before the demand goes nuts. So if you're interested, sign up for my class, and there's a link in the description. You'll find it on Facebook as well as on YouTube. And if you're watching on Instagram, and if you're interested in signing up for this class, just leave a comment in the comment section below. So the class, it's actually a workshop, and it's going to be a 4-hour Zoom workshop with only 20 people. I'm only allowing 20 people so I can work with you, along with you, and show you exactly how to create SVG cut files, how to create not just any cut files, but profitable SVG cut files that people actually want to buy. So we will be doing that on Affinity Designer. So it's a must that you have a laptop and a fast internet, so you can participate in the Zoom session. You can get answers to your questions. I'll share my tips that I use to create SVG designs for Cricut. As some of you might know, I work for Cricut as a freelance graphic designer, and I've learned a ton of new tips from this collaboration, and I will be sharing those tips in the masterclass. So if you guys are interested, leave a comment below or check out the link in the Facebook description. So it's a one-time class. I'm not sure when I will have it again. So if you're interested, sign up now. So that's all for today. I hope you guys found this session helpful, and I will be coming back tomorrow with a new session, and let's see what we are going to be discussing tomorrow. So the topic for tomorrow is mistakes to avoid when using SVG cut files. So stay tuned for that, and thank you so much for joining in today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.